Hi everyone, my name is Rashmi Advani and I'm a first year GI fellow at Stony Brook University Hospital in Long Island. I am recording this video to help share some of my experience as a GI fellow during the COVID-19 pandemic. I would like to thank NYSGE for creating the COVID-19 diaries and for allowing us to share our experiences on this platform. So I'm going to go just right in. The first question is, how has the pandemic affected me directly? I think it has affected me in more ways than one. Being a healthcare worker working directly with COVID-19 patients, not only have I had to take extra caution in knowing how to protect myself, but also I've had to learn how to take extra caution when it came to taking care of my patients. Before the pandemic, I never really thought about the type of PPE that I was using or how to ration such supplies such as N95 masks, gloves, gowns, even purple wipes. So that has been a new experience for me as well. Being a New Yorker, I am used to seeing my family almost every weekend if I'm not on call, but because of my degree of exposure at work, I have not seen them for about 2.5 months. So that has been weighing a little bit heavy on me as well. It's important for you to think about your mental wellness and mental well-being in this whole process, especially because I've had to come to terms with the high morbidity and high mortality of the disease itself. So I've tried to find an outlet that helps me combat some of my feelings and my frustration when it comes to the pandemic. So how have I adapted to new work arrangements? So I think my adaptability is closely intertwined with that of my department and my institution. A lot of the changes that were happening very early. They were dynamic and they were happening quickly. So it was important for us to keep an open line of communication within the department. We had weekly Zoom meetings with the head of our department and our program leadership. And I think that was really helpful in helping us navigate the responsibilities that we were expected to uphold on the COVID units as attendings. So that's another part of this. We were redeployed as attendings, and for many of us who've gone straight from residency to fellowship, that is an entirely new role to fill and a whole new set of responsibilities. So I think that part of it is has been new and has required me to adapt to. How do I feel about the various responses to the pandemic? So I think my institution might have been a little bit unique in the sense that we were well prepared early on with our resources, with the schedule changes, and having clear roles and responsibilities for the trainees who were redeployed to the units. I feel like, had that not been the case, it would have been very chaotic. So I think, at least for my hospital, I've been fortunate enough to have that degree of leadership. How have you responded to redeployment? So I believe, like other trainees who were redeployed to the COVID units, I approached my first shift with anxiety, fear, apprehension. I was really nervous. I was working with 4 residents who were not internal medicine trained, so that definitely piqued my anxiety. By the end of my stretch, I felt fairly confident in the abilities of my residents in taking care of these patients and communicating well with me while we took care of these patients together. So I have been grateful for that experience at the end of all of this. How do you foresee the next few weeks unfolding? So I think we've moved past the apex of this disease course, hopefully, and might now be seeing residents and fellows going back to their respective services and fulfilling their own roles and their own services. I do think, and I'm cautious because as restrictions on lockdowns start to ease, I think there could be another surge of cases. In which case, if that were to happen again, I think we would be well prepared as a service and as an institution to do so. How do you think GI endoscopy might be changed by what has happened this year? So I do believe there are going to be quite a few changes when it comes to how we manage patients with GI issues, whether they're elective or not. I do think we're going to be wearing a lot more PPE, whether or not someone is COVID-19 positive. I do think maybe some of the elective cases might be pushed to later in the year if they're not urgent or emergent. And I do hope that there is some resolution to all of this soon. But I am very cautious about the next few months. But anyway, these are my thoughts. I thank you for listening. And again, I want to thank NYSGE for arranging the COVID-19 Diaries series. I hope you all are staying home and staying safe. We are still in a pandemic. Wear your mask, social distancing, all of that. But thank you again for listening, and take care.